Hello, let's talk about Transformers Devastation. So this is the final game that we'll be talking about in this retrospective review series. I'm super excited to actually have beaten this game in like 2 days or something like that. And I actually looked at my gameplay and it said like 3 hours. So like I am very excited about that, of course. I love this game. And I've only ever played it a handful of times, but I do genuinely love this game. I think it's a really good game. It has solid gameplay. Of the two Platinum games that I've played, this and the Ninja Turtle game that they did, this is probably the best one. I would love to play more of their games, actually. I've heard great things, of course, about Bayonetta over the years, so maybe that one day, but who knows. But yeah, this is, a really fun game. It's a really great Transformers game, and I would not be scratching my head if someone put this in their top 5 favorite Transformer games. You know what I mean? This genuinely is one of the best. This game is of course about Optimus, Bumblebee, Wheeljack, Sideswipe, and Grimlock, about how they have to stop Megatron and the Decepticons from turning Earth into their home. They are using this thing called the Pharaoh attacks and some other Cybertronian artifacts to basically corrupt the Earth and turn it into a new Cybertron. And you have to stop them because obviously that is bad. And this is, a really fun game. It's like a Transformers Bayonetta. You gotta dodge and attack people. You can use ranged weapons and melee weapons, primary and secondary type stuff. And it's really great. It's really fun. It is rather challenging, and you're not gonna get it immediately, but you wanna know what? It's ultimately pretty fun and pretty enjoyable nonetheless. And I do genuinely love this game. I cannot sing its praises enough in terms of fun gameplay, fun action, and just general mayhem. The environments are indestructible, but the combat's flashy enough that you would probably be surprised if you learned that these weren't destructible. This is just a genuinely fun game to just pick up and play. I can't believe I only played this twice when I had it on 360. I'm playing it on PS4 right now, and like I said, I'm surprised that I didn't play this on 360 more. This will definitely be a game I go back to a lot. But yeah, the story is pretty good. It's not why you're here. You're here for the gameplay. And yeah, this gameplay is pretty fun. I will say the voice cast is exquisite. Peter Cullen is absolutely amazing, giving one of, I think, his best performances ever. Dan Gilligan, he did okay in, of course, Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions, but I think he genuinely did, his probably best return to a role probably in this game. You know what I mean? There's just, I think, a general funness to Bumblebee. It's nice to hear Bumblebee talk in one of these games after a few where he didn't. It's just general fun and general mayhem. You also have Frank Welker coming back to do his classic G1 voice, a voice that in this decade you didn't really hear a lot. Thanks to Prime and thanks to Michael Bay finally using Frank Welker to play Megatron in the movies. But yeah, this game, honestly, I don't really have too many problems. I remember thinking the part where you have to haul Red Energon over, exploding Red Energon over to destroy something to do with a bridge. I remember thinking that was really tedious a decade ago when I played this game, but honestly, it really wasn't. And I don't know if it's because I've matured as a player. It probably has. I probably have matured as a gamer, who knows. But I don't know if it's because I've matured as a gamer or if I'm just more patient than I was a decade ago, but this game genuinely has very little flaws. The only thing I could really say is that like towards the end of the game, it was during the final, like right before this mission starts, you fight, like Soundwave, and I had a glitch where the screen kept flashing at me because I guess the camera got caught on a piece of like geometry or something like that. I don't even know what it was, but yeah, other than that, like zero complaints about this game. It runs amazingly, it runs so smooth, it looks incredible. Like once again, you can't really see that because of the fact that I film my TV, but like it genuinely just like looks incredible. This game is a masterpiece. I don't, you know me, I don't really love to overuse that word, but it is. It's genuinely, I think, one of the best games I've ever played. And like War for Cybertron will always have my heart, but this is a good game. Oh, I completely wasn't able to talk about how much I love Thundercracker and Skywarp. Those are two of my favorite Transformers of all time, Thundercracker and Skywarp. But you know, this is like a really fun game, and this is actually the level I played like the most back when, even when I had this copy on 360, or a copy on 360. This is the level that I played the most. This is my favorite level, and it is the second to last level. So spoilers if you were paying attention, this is kind of like a boss rush level until you get to the final level until you get to the final boss fight, that is Megatron, which we may get to do here. Enough gushing about the story, the level design, the gameplay. I will say I do wish that we got another one of these. This game does set up a sequel, and you will see, obviously, all the Autobots are based off their G1 appearances. Megatron is also as well, but he also has like two things on the back of his back that are meant to represent his like treads on his toy for the Combiner Wars toy line from a decade ago. This game is heavily inspired by Combiner Wars. All the appearances of the Constructicons who you're fighting right now, they are based off of their Combiner Wars designs. Like all of them are, which is fine. This game came out the summer of Combiner Wars. Combiner Wars also came out with a Devastator toy that I wish I was able to get my hands on, but you know, I was like 16 and had no money. And I bet you now the like set is really expensive, so whatever. Who cares? But yeah, like this genuinely is like a fun game that was tied with the Combiner Wars toy line. And you'll also see Minosaur in a bit, and he was also based off of his Combiner Wars toy design. So is we actually fought Motormaster a little bit ago in this boss rush, but like so was Mixmaster as well. Or sorry, not Mixmaster, Motormaster, who is the leader of the Stunticons. These characters are all tied in to that, and there's even a post-credit scene at the end of this game that was like, hey, here's this thing from Combiner Wars. Combiner Wars was based loosely off of this, well, like I said, very loosely based off of this television special that only aired in Japan back in G1 called Scramble City. The idea that you could take any, combiner, except for obviously Devastator. You could take any combiner from any combiner team, and you could make them, something else. You could take the right leg of Minosaur and put it on Bruticus. It was Scramble City. And it was this idea that, I don't know if it worked back in the 80s, but it was an idea from the 80s that, came out in Japan. Well, Combiner Wars was that again, and this, I'm sorry if this sounds like a real tangent, but you know, this game was based off of the Combiner Wars toy line, where you could do that. And Optimus Prime had a Combiner in that toy line, and this game teases the idea that in the next game, if there was a next game, Optimus Prime would become a Combiner. And that being said, I wish there was a Combiner Wars or a sequel to this game that had you combine into something for Optimus Prime. This is one of the best, like I said, one of the best Transformer games ever made. It promised a sequel, and it genuinely feels strange that it doesn't have one. You know what I mean? Like, out of all the Transformer games that need a sequel, this is definitely one of them, and it's crazy to think that it doesn't have one. Because, you know, honestly, it should. That being said, this is still a really extremely fun game to play. If you can find it, I found it for like $30, I think, like on GameStop a few months back. And yeah, if you could get your hands on this game, I highly recommend you do. And you know, it's just, like I said, a genuinely fun experience that you can play over and over again. And you can also play this with your families. Like, it is rated T for teen for like fantasy violence, but like, it's basically like a, you know, however many hours it takes you to play this game, episode of the cartoon. Like, this ties into the cartoon really well. I do believe interviews at the time talked about how they drew more on the IDW comics at the time. You know, obviously they loved G1 and were inspired by G1, but they were also taking influences from those comics. So I'm sure that this probably ties more into the comics, but it also ties into the game, or into that cartoon rather well. There's quite a few references actually in this game to the cartoon. And yeah, it's fun. They also sort of did some other things to like tease a sequel to this game, and it makes me wish that we could have gotten another game out of this, you know, from this game, you know, a sequel. But that being said, I do genuinely love this game, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this series of games, going back to you know, my Revenge of the Fallen review. So I've done like 5 or 6, I think 6 reviews now for Transformer games, and the reason I wanted to talk about these 6 was because another YouTuber named Just Cole, I talked about him last time. Just Cole did a almost 2-hour you know, video game or review of all these games, and he did like all the Transformer games, even going back to the 80s. And he inspired me to go get a copy from Amazon, a copy of what's it called, of Revenge of the Fallen. And those are the games that I played. You know, I played all the Transformer games that were available to me to play from the years of 2009 to 2015, which is when this game came out. And I'm super happy that I got to do that, because this was a really fun series to do. And I hope you enjoyed watching it, whether you watched all of the parts or you just watched a few of the parts, or just this one. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching, because yeah, this was a fun game series to talk about. So many like anniversaries happened this year, and this year is the 40th anniversary of Transformers, and I feel kind of bad that I wasn't able to talk about everything I want to talk about, but hopefully I get to talk about Transformers Prime in the ensuing months, you know what I mean? And you know, I just really enjoyed playing this series of games, because I think Transformer games are some of the funnest games that I've had to play, that I've had the pleasure of playing, not only as a kid, but as an adult. And I'm super grateful that this series did decent enough that, I don't know, like, because you guys The viewers at home are the reason why I make videos. I mean, I also make videos because I want to, but you guys are definitely part of the reason. And I just love this game. I love Transformers. I would love to hear what your favorite cartoon is. Mine's probably Prime, or actually mine's animated. Mine's animated. My favorite movie is Bumblebee. Also, it's Dark of the Moon, but Bumblebee. And my favorite video game is War for Cybertron. So I'd love to hear your favorite movie, show, and game down in the comment section. And I recommend Just Cole's video, which I will link in the description down below. So yeah, that is it. I will probably beat this boss now because it's actually a really good boss. And yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble for all these years, for all these videos, and for the last 16 minutes. Remember that God made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you're having a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week. And as always, God bless, and until all are one.